this particular Google Doc, every link that we have here will take you to the Google Help Support page that deals specifically with that task. All right, so you can see we have it broken up into a few different categories here: movement, presentation tools, distribution, suggested add-ons, and then a couple new features. One, inserting audio files. And I'm so happy that this finally hit our domain just within the past couple days, because I've been waiting to do this. It was on my Tech Training for Teachers domain, and if I demoed that, you would have had to wait, because at that point it wasn't visible, but now it is, so you all can take full advantage of that. All right, in addition to the links that are there, you also see a number beside each one. That number corresponds to the presentation right here, so if you were to click on it and then the link right underneath there, that'll open up a copy of the presentation, and you can just follow along if you want to. All right? Any questions about that? Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. All right, and I'm going to be working from, when I demo some of this stuff, just a blank presentation. And if you want to keep a couple tabs open on your computers, you can keep the Slides Training Part 2 presentation up, and maybe in another one just have an empty presentation. That way you can practice. Okay? All right, so to begin, we're going to talk about transitions. And I will say that Google Slides is somewhat limited in this area, but I mean, a transition, basically, that's just how slides are joined with one another. I don't think that's necessarily a deal breaker that would cause you, oh, I can't use slides, it doesn't have the transitions that I want. But the ones that it does have, it does them well. I mean, they're nice. To view what transitions are available in Google Slides, simply click on the View menu and then go to Animations. Okay? Over on the right-hand side, you should see a panel appear at the very top. It's going to be where all your transitions are. Okay? Right now, I don't have any transitions set for this presentation. If you wanted to choose one, simply click from the list of choices there, and then you can choose to apply only to that one, or if you just select it, it will apply it to the slide selected. If you choose apply to all slides, then it applies that transition to all of them. Okay? Really the only way you can customize the effect is the speed of it, and you can do that with that little slider right there. Okay? I actually have a favorite one. I'm partial to the cube and the gallery. Those are nice. You can try them out if you want. If you choose them, if you play, you'll see what that animation looks like, or that transition. Just by clicking play, it'll preview it right there for you. It's kind of cool. Okay? Animations basically are movements that you can apply to various elements within your presentation. All right, then there's different ways or scenarios in which you might want to use these. To demo what this would look like, let me go ahead and present full screen so we can see. So I've got 3 shapes here on my slide, and I'm going to have them come in one at a time and then leave one at a time as well. So if I click present, we'll see them here. Right now, I have them set to appear when I first click. So if I click, should see one, click again, there's my second one, and there's my third one. All right, now I've also told it to slide out to the right on my 4th click, so I'll click there goes the top one, the middle one, and the bottom one, and we're clear. Okay, now how we did that, actually quite easy, and if I create a new slide here, we can do this together if you want to. We'll start by drawing a shape. So we can click on our toolbar here under shape. Here's an arrow. All right, I'll choose that and I'll just simply draw the arrow. You can do this as well. It doesn't have to be an arrow. It can be whatever you want. Okay. Now to animate this, simply right-click on it and choose Animate, or you can go to View and then choose Animations. All right. I'll right-click, or control-click if you're using one of these computers, and choose Animate. Animate, not anime. I want to be clear on that. All right. So we have it selected. We can choose to do one of the following. We can have it simply just appear. So if we clicked, it would just pop in on the screen. Nothing special there. We can have it fade in. You can see what some of the options are here. All right, let's say I want it to fly in from the left. Okay. And then if I wanted to also fly out to the right, I would just choose add another animation. All right, so it's going to fly in from the left, and then it's going to fly out to the right on click. All right, so now if I go ahead and play, I'll click one time, should come in. There it is. I'll click one more time, should slide out to the right. There it goes, and we're out. And I'll quit out of that. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Any questions about that? Not complicated at all. So we talked about transitions, and you can set up your slideshows to run automatically. And there's a new feature of Google Slides that we now allow you to do this quickly and easily without publishing. All right, so if you go to the first slide of your presentation, let me get rid of these two middle slides here, my second and third slide. And if we choose Present, bless you, you'll notice down at the very bottom of your presentation screen, you have these tools down there. All right? There is a gear right there, and if you click on it, you're going to see Auto Advance. This is very useful. Let's say you're doing a presentation and you wanted some information to loop. You could come here to this area and just say every 2, 3, however many you want seconds, we want this to loop. And so then when you play it, it will basically just run on its own. All right, you don't have to stand there and advance things. All right, so this should go every 15 seconds or so. All right, and then of course you can come back and you can change that to a different interval if you want to. Auto advancing slides, and that is a new feature there. Okay, but you only see those options when you're in presentation mode. Okay, only time you'll see them. All right, and you can see it's actually going to the next slide while I'm looking at these. All right, and then I'll close out of that.
A common complaint I heard.
Yeah, and it was valid because it was kind of a pain. Yeah, you'd have to publish it first. This way you don't have to. Yeah. Yeah, question.
Are we supposed to be able to find this presentation that you have up here, or are we supposed to be?
This one right here is just a new presentation.
That you just did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was just making sure
Yeah,
I was following along correctly.
Yeah, no.
Perfect.
Thank you. I should have clarified
That's okay.
that. All right, speaker notes. I remember a couple years ago when Dr. Bell had myself and Earhart. We did something at the beginning of the year on technology, and believe me, I was reading those notes there in front of me. And so to get to your speaker notes, you'll see beside the Present button, if you click that drop-down menu, you'll see this option, Presenter View. All right? And if you choose that, what it's going to do is it's going to pull up, and I have to not be in full screen mode here. This is a little tricky for me to show you, but basically what it does, when you're looking at your speaker notes, they're going to appear right in this area, right here, if you've added something. All right? And the newest feature here allows you to actually zoom in on them. Prior to this update, it was very difficult to read your speaker notes. You'd have to get really close to see them. All right, so where you would add your speaker notes in Slides, if I can exit out of this, are right down there at the very bottom. You see where it says click to add speaker notes? All right, so you just click down here. Here is where my notes should go. Tell them a joke. about the dot, dot, dot. Okay, so that's just for me. So then when I go to present this, all right, the way this would work, and again, this is messed up because of how I'm presenting this, this today. But this screen right here would be on the screen that you're presenting to. All right, so I'm just going to put that over here for the time being. And then this is what's going to be in front of you, all right, as the presenter. All right, and I told you before that you can zoom in or out of your text. That makes it a little easier to see. You can also advance back and forth from one slide to the next using your controls here. Okay? Okay. This next feature is fun, but you got to be careful with it. Okay? Let me exit out of this. Okay? It's called Captions. And I think, Emily, I know you were there. I don't know if Beverly, if you were there when I first demoed this at one of our, it might have been a lunch and learn at the time. But what Captions will do is it will use your computer's microphone to display what it is that you're saying. And so I started off the presentation, okay, class. Well, it didn't hear the C part of that. So as I was demoing this, right there. Yeah, worked like a charm. All right, so here we go. And they've actually tweaked this a little bit. So now it's easier to see the captions. So if we go to present, and you don't actually have to be in presenter view. You can just do a normal presentation. But if you move your cursor down there to the bottom, you'll see where it says Captions. Do you see that? If you click Captions, that will basically turn it on. You can see what's happening now. It's taking what I'm saying and it's putting it up there at the very top. And it surprisingly does a pretty good job so long as you speak clearly of putting it on there. Yeah. And you have some ways to customize this. You'll notice there's an arrow beside Captions that will allow you to adjust the text position from the top to the bottom and also adjust the size.
That's great.
Okay? Q&A is another handy feature. This is going to allow you to get feedback in real time from the people who are in your audience. So the way you do this is to click the arrow beside present and then choose presenter view. Okay? Now again, I've got to get out of full screen mode here. Bear with me. Okay, so what I would do as the presenter with this window, which is only on my screen, I would click Audience Tools. And then I would choose Start New. And so what this is going to do is it's going to take my presentation and it is going to put a link at the very top of each slide. And so the people who are sitting out there in the audience, they could get on their phone and they can go to that address and they could start typing comments to me. And I would be back here and I could see those comments coming in. So if I asked a question, I could, and you all can do that now if you want. I can even tell them to appear, your comments to appear on the screen. So let me leave this up here for just a second. Let's see if you all can send me something. So it's slides.app.goo.gl. Anyone. Okay. There we go. Now you'll be able to, if you tried just a second ago and were denied access.
Tell me how you did that.
I clicked here and I
right there.
chose
I see
anyone.
that.
Yeah. So anyone should be able to send a question. So now that stays on the screen. I come back here and I'm still waiting for questions to come in. Oh, here we go. And you can see, I can see who actually sent it. Okay? Oh, goodness. All right, so, oh, yes, I like this question. I want everyone to see it. So what I can do is I can say present, and look there. It'll take your question and then put it right there in our slideshow. Okay?
So show me how you did that again.
Okay. I'm seeing all the questions that are coming in here, Patrick. And if I want any of those displayed in my presentation, all I have to do, here's Megan's, is click Present. She asks a very important question here. We'll talk about that later. Okay?
Why is this kind of?
What is the sky blue?
You know what, that's a typo, I don't wanna hear it.
Okay.
So I put in my own,
Okay. You see how that works?
so send a message to myself.
So that's a way you can really get engaged with your audience.
That's great.
Okay?
Hey, I have a question, like a real question.
Okay.
It should be up there.
Well, let me scroll down. Here we are. So let's see what Ann's question. Can you send surveys for people to do during the presentation and get results real time? You can. In fact, we're actually going to demo that with some of the add-ons that we're talking about today. All right? So just wait for it. All right. Let me exit out of that. Okay, any questions about Q&A? All right. Distribution. All right. A few ways to do this. Not difficult. I think most of us are already familiar with how to distribute G Suite files. Whenever we click Share, obviously, we can choose to just enter the name of the person there and give them either edit, comment, or view rights. All right. I wish the view option was the top one, to be honest with you. Because by default, you're giving everybody edit rights, and you don't really want to do that. Okay? Shareable link, that basically is going to allow you to just make a link accessible to anyone you send it to. All right? So if I choose that option, here it's going to say, by default, anyone in my domain can see it. But if you want to make it public to where anybody can see it, you'd have to go to Advanced and then change that to Public on the Web. That's where people could actually search the web and maybe find it. Anyone with the link. All right. This would be the option you chose if you're sending a link to a presentation to someone outside our organization. This is going to allow them to open it. Okay? You can see what those are. Okay? Let me choose Done. Some other options here. Down towards the bottom, you have the option to publish it to the web. Basically, this just makes a web page of your presentation, a standalone web page that has nothing on it but your presentation. Okay? And you can set some advanced options here. When you click Publish, it's going to give you an address right there. So if you just wanted a self-running slideshow for people to be able to go to and see, this would be the address that you give them, right down here. Or if you wanted the presentation embedded in, say, your web page, you could do that as well. Just click the Embed tab here and copy that code. And then on your web page, there's a little space where you can edit code, drop in code. You just paste that in there, and then it's there. Okay? And that's really easy to do. I've done it many times. Okay? Of course, you also have some downloading options. You can see what those are. You can download it as a PowerPoint. God forbid you do that, but it is there. PowerPoint presentation, an open office document, a PDF, which basically flattens everything. So if you're not concerned about transitions or animations in your presentation, PDF is actually a good option. You can go full screen PDF and it looks just like a slides presentation, minus the sounds or multimedia elements. Okay? Plain text, so basically it'll take all the text in your presentation and summarize that and put it into a small text document. You can do slides one at a time. This is kind of a pain, to be honest with you. But there is an extension that will allow you to take all of your slides and export them out as a graphic without having to do them one at a time. It's a little bit better quality if you export this out as a picture. And then an SVG, that's if you're going to be working with graphic designers and want logos blown up This makes the graphics scalable. Okay? So that's what those are.
That's good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know about publishing it to the web.
Yeah. In fact, this is how I get our announcements on our TV in the Commons area. I basically just create a presentation, then I export each frame out as a ping image, and then I send that to the presenter. Okay, let's talk about some of these add-ons here. Pear Deck is one. You asked about the questions and polls and that sort of thing. Yeah, you can do that. And so Pear Deck is it's an add-on. It's free. There are some cool features that you'd have to pay for, though, more advanced features that are there. But I think if you just use the free version, I think this can enhance what you do in your classroom. So let me walk you through how this is going to work. I have a 3-slide presentation here where I've actually asked questions, okay? And these could also be multiple choice. This is fill in the blank here. So the way this works is you get it installed, and then you present your lesson, okay? And then the students, they're going to look for the link. It should appear here on the first slide we see. Okay, so you all go to open up another tab and go to the address joinpd.com. I like this because that's easy to remember, joinpd.com, and then it'll ask you for the code. All right, and here it is, QYZUQ. QYZUQ. And it's telling me, okay, 2, 3 are connected, 4. Okay? QYZUQ. And what's nice is it gives you words down there, too, for you to pronounce. Okay? So, I can close out of that if I'm ready to begin. And here's my first slide. All right, so I'm talking here. I'll go to the next slide. What is one slide's feature you really like? All right, so this is a question for you all. Go ahead and answer me. I'll give you a few seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's all the time we have. So now, down at the bottom, I can say I want to show the responses. So if I click that, here we are. Here's your responses. And they're coming in. Okay, I can go back to my presentation, hide responses, go to the next slide. What file type will Google Slides not export as? Now I just went over that. This is a multiple choice here. I'm going to find out who was listening and who's out there just fooling around. You just click on it. Yeah. All right, let's see. Show my responses. Okay. Very good. Everybody got that right. Apple Keynote. Yeah. Okay, and then I can come back and hide those responses. All right. I'll click End. And you have the option here to name the session. That way you can save the answers that have been submitted to you. All right. Okay.
Is there a feature to see who submitted what, or it's just real time, you take your answers out?
It looks like, and I haven't gone too in-depth with this, Leanne, there might be a way with the paid version that you can do that. And there might be with this version, I just haven't explored it enough to see. Let's see. Yeah. Should be able to see over on the right-hand side. Yeah, these are the different types of questions here. Text, choice, number. You can have them go to a website. There's also drawing. Okay, that actually could be good. I know you teach math. They're working out a problem. Okay, and then draggable option there, but that's with the paid version. Okay. Yeah, so the links to this add-on are there in this presentation that you have access to, as well as the notes. So you can install that on your own if you want to. All right, Slido is another one that works exactly the same way. And let me flip on over to it if I can. That was Pear Deck. Here's Slido. All right, so if I click the Slido link here, okay, here we go. And we can do a live poll, surveys, quiz, display audience Q&A. All right, so let me choose Present with Slido. All right, there's my first slide. Here's my second one. Okay, what presentation software is used most in academic environments? Y'all should see that. So you go to slido.com and then enter the code 5365. And then make your choice. What presentation software is used the most in academic environments? Okay, that's good. So I have my responses here. %, of you said, 33% said Google Slides. Okay, which was the right answer? It used to be PowerPoint. Okay, and then here's another where you can do a fill in the blank, I believe. What do you think is the most important feature of presentation software? That it work when you go to use it.
How do you get back to your next question?
Figure it out. This is going to create a word cloud here. Your answers as they come in. See this? Okay, and all this was free here. Ease of understanding, ease of use, Q&A. Yeah.
There's no options.
You having problems there, Patrick?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk later. All right, let's get out of this.
Don't do that to me.
Okay, keep the poll active. Nope, I'm closing out of that poll. Okay, so Pear Deck and Slido are pretty similar. I like the interface of Pear Deck better. It's more sort of child-friendly. I think Slido is geared more for business professionals. Slides Toolbox, this is a really handy one. It, again, is free for a time, but what it's going to allow you to do is to do things like batch export all of your slides out as images, change the case of all your slides, export specific images on slides out. So you can see if I go to add-ons and I choose Slides Toolbox and open it, look at what some of these options are, what we can do. We can remove things, arrange things automatically. You get a level of control that Slides on its own doesn't provide to you. There's some export tools there. You know, that can save you a lot of time. Let me close out of that. Any questions there? How to get to these? All right. New feature, inserting audio files. All right, this is fun here. And let me show you something I created with it. You remember the show? I don't know if it's still on. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? But when that first came out, a lot of teachers were making presentations with the music, the sound effects, and they were making it interactive. And now that we finally, oh goodness, 15 years later, the insert sound feature has been brought to slides, we can do something similar. All right, so let me show you how this could work. Let me start my presentation here. All right. All right, so I embedded the theme song to it. All right, now I'm going to ask myself the question, what's the layout name for the first slide? All right, I'm going to say main point. Incorrect. All right, so I'm going to try again. So I'm going to click there. Title slide. Okay. Now I can go on to the next question. All right, let me close out of that. Otherwise the music will drive us all crazy. All right, but basically what I did was I inserted a sound file onto each slide.
How did you create the little buttons to press and it knows which slide?
Oh, that's a good question. Basically what we do there is if I took a shape, all right, so let's say I come up here and I go to shape. Say I want this little guy here. Let's say I want this to take me to slide 3 or 4. All you have to do is right-click on it, and you choose Link, and look here, Slides in this presentation. Then you say, all right, I want it to go to this slide or that slide, and then you apply it. Okay? Yeah. And then to save time, I just copied the slides. Okay?
Show that one more time.
Okay. You just click on, and it doesn't have to be a shape. It could be a picture that you bring in. You could apply this to anything, really. So here's a little circle I'll draw. You right-click on it, click on Link, and then right underneath Link, Slides in this presentation. You choose the slide that you want that to take you to.
Oh, I got you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Does it automatically, like, if you correct the correct answer, is it not gonna go from the correct slide to incorrect slide?
What I did here, Megan, for this one, I know that's wrong, okay? So I said I want that to take me to slide 3. I want this one to also take me to slide 3. This one, if I choose Link, you're going to see that it's going to take me to slide 2. All right, then once I'm at slide 2, I'm going to say this button will take me to slide 4. Okay?
So you copy the building essentially on each side.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay? All right. So, the audio, how you get your audio in here, do it quite easily. So if we scroll down to this presentation, here we go. Slide 17. All right. So these were just a couple clips I got online. Okay, there's Homer Simpson. Then we also have Arnold there, and then here's Jerry.
Hello, Jerry. Hello, Newman.
Okay. And as long as the files, the audio files are in MP3 or WAV format, and you get them into your drive, you can embed them here in your presentation. All right? Now, I thought, you know, we all have Macs, and so whenever you record, you can record with QuickTime and save it as an audio file. It's not the format that Google likes to play with. All right, so I thought, well, what is a way that we can do this that's streamlined? All right, and there is a way, and what you're going to have to do is use the cloud audio recorder, and I got a link to it right down there. And so basically it's a Chrome extension or add-on that allows you to record using your microphone, and it saves the files right there into your drive. Okay, so if I can demo how this works, it's actually really quite easy. All right, so let me open up a new tab here, and it will install the app over here into this section. Here it is, Cloud Audio Recorder. So if I click that, notice what will come up. All right, basically it'll give you the description. It'll take whatever is your default audio input device, and it will allow you to start using it as a recorder. So if I click Start, I first have to allow it. Hello, welcome to class. We are so happy you came here today. Stop. Okay. WAV or MP3. I'll choose export as an MP3. So at this point, if I wanted to preview it, I could click play. Hello, welcome to class. We are so happy you came here today. Okay. And then I could choose save to Google Drive. It's actually the developer misspelled Google. Can you see that? Google. Okay, but it does save it to your Google Drive. All right, so we click that. Yeah, and so by default, it wants to save it right there in the root folder on Google Drive. We want to select a folder inside our Google Drive. So I'll say audio files. All right, and then I'll also give it a name. I'll say class welcome. All right, and then I'll click save. All right, so now I got the sound file in my Google Drive. So if let's say I want to add that sound file right here, I click Insert, Audio. Well, I guess it was that one. I guess I must not have applied it before I renamed it. I'll choose Select, and there it is. Hello, welcome to class. We're so happy you came here today. Okay, so now what I can do is I can take this, and if I choose Replace Image, that's where you can use the pictures that you found online and replace this little audio icon. All right, so we saw back there, yeah, Seinfeld and Arnold and Homer. I just got on the internet, saved that picture, and then replaced that image right here. And that's all we had to do. And then you have a few controls over here. If you have the audio file selected and you go to Format Options, under Audio Playback, you can choose to have it play automatically. All right, that's what I did. Whenever we went to the next slide, as soon as we hit the slide, it played that audio file. You can also tell it to hide the icon so we don't see it during the presentation. And you can also adjust the volume there. Okay? If there aren't any questions, let me show you the very last thing here, and that is the remote app for Google Slides. So the remote app is it's an extension. You install it there with Chrome. And so what I will do is I'll get to the very start of my presentation here. And after you install the extension, you choose to present with remote. Okay, so here it is. Then down at the very bottom here, it's going to give me a code. All right. So I will, on my phone, I will open the app, which I've got it right here. All right, and I will enter that code, which is down at the very bottom there. So that is 768002. So let me type that in. 768002 and connect. Looks like it's trying to do something. There we go. All right, and then I can go to the previous slide if I want. And I also have the option to look at my speaker notes if I want to right here. All right, but I don't have it here. Yeah. No more clicker, right, while you're looking at your notes, but you can get back to it with the touch of a button. All right, and that's free. All right, so if you had a clicker, you could plug in. I mean, that's handy, but if you don't have access to one, everybody has a smartphone. You just get that installed.
Where did you say you got that remote app?
Actually, on iOS devices, it's just a website, and I created a shortcut to it. All right, and so if we go here, present with remote, you just go to that.
Hello, welcome to class. We're so happy you came here today.
Let's not hear that. Okay, see that little web address down there, Patrick? S.
I don't see that on mine.
Well, on mine, look at mine down here. You have to get it installed first. s.limhenry.xyz. If you access that website on your mobile device, then just create a shortcut to it.
How do you install it?
You don't install it if it's an iPhone. If you have an Android device, there's a link to install that. Okay, so that takes us to 4:30. You all, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I'll stick around for a minute or two if you all have any questions. Anybody out there watching, thanks for tuning in. All right.